aware, aware of this marijuana solution.
Hi, this is Robert Roundtree, and you're listening to the Marijuana Solution because we are dedicated to the medicated. Today we have a very special guest. Her name is Nina Dawn. She is actually a patient in Florida, and we're going to talk to her today about her experience becoming a patient, getting her card, and following up with the doctor. There's actually some things that she wants to discuss that doesn't sound too right. Hey, Nina, how are you doing?
I'm good, Robert. How are you doing today?
I'm doing really good, especially now that I've got properly medicated prior to recording this. I'm doing a lot better than I was before.
That's what I'm working on.
I came about your story from, browsing social media and was kind of drawn to it because I've actually heard more and more stories similar to ones like what you're about to tell all the listeners, but different. But basically, patients sounds like they're getting stronger armed to some extent. Could you first maybe tell us why you're a patient, if you're comfortable with that, like what cannabis is being used for, and then how you went about getting your card in Florida and that process?
Well, I was in a MVA about 11 years ago, and I was on opiates for about 10 years. And 3 years ago, I used cannabis to come off of morphine, muscle relaxers. I was on about 18 medications, basically.
So 18 different types of pharmaceuticals?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Probably anywhere from 15 to 18 at a time. So I had made the decision because I'd had family members that were having liver issues. My brother, he had some liver issues, and he had never taken pharmaceuticals or drank. And unfortunately, he lost his battle and didn't get a liver. And I'd already made the decision at that point that I didn't no longer want to take pharmaceuticals. They weren't helping me. I lost my job in Sarasota because the medicine wasn't working anymore. So I couldn't get up and function. Then I came back to Gainesville, and the doctor that I was seeing told me that he said, "You can't never come off of these. You're not going to have any quality of life." He said, "You can't come off of this medication. You're not going to have any quality of life." He said, "You'll be on this medicine for the rest of your life." I was like, "No, I won't."
Let me stop you right there if you don't mind. So you went to the doctor, and then they basically told you that you're hooked on this forever if you want to ever feel good?
Yes, that was his words. He said, "You will have his exact words were to me, "You will have no quality of life without this medication."
And how did that make you feel, coming from a medical professional?
Well, this was the first medical professional that had ever said this to me. I'd had friends and family members say, "You're going to be addicted," but I never had a doctor tell me that you'll have no quality of life without this medication. So at that point, I knew that he was either pushing it on me or my body was just going to have it. I didn't really understand. But I knew that at that point, I wasn't going to take it no more, ever. And so within a month, I brought myself off. I was on 350 milligrams of morphine a day, not counting the muscle relaxers, etc. So this is the scary part, and I didn't know this could happen, but I brought myself off cold turkey. But you have to realize my brother was dying. He needed liver. And my liver had already shown I had some like scar tissue and things from cysts and tumors, and they said that could have been caused from the medication. There was all kinds of things that led me to this decision. It wasn't just one little thing, it was several things. So I brought myself off cold turkey. Within 3 days, I think it was actually 2.5 days, I was in withdrawal so bad that my grandmother had to get me to the ER. So the ER physician's solution to my withdrawal was not to help me, not to teach me how to come off this medication, but to give me more morphine.
Oh, of course.
So I go back home 2 days later. I'm still suffering. I'm still withdrawing because I don't have enough medication to get through what I'm going through. And the morphine that they've given me was a shot. I wasn't going to take, I had morphine, had a whole bottle. I didn't want it. So anyway, I get back to the ER. Grandma takes me back because I could die. It's at this point that I'm looking at, I'm going to die. Or I wouldn't even went to the ER. So I get there and there's a doctor there named Dr. Kemp from Gainesville. It was his night there. And if anybody ever gets to meet Dr. Kemp, this man is amazing. He came in there and he said, I really feel like that you want to stop taking this medication. He said, and if you promise me that you'll do it the right way, I'll help you. But please don't ever do this again. He said, you could have died. He said, I lost a patient because they didn't want to take their medicine anymore and didn't want to do it the right way. They died. So he helped me and basically told me that most people come off of it in a year. He said, I think you can do it in 6 months. I done it in 3 months with another opiate. Which was Subzolve. During that 3-month period, I was smoking cannabis, and I probably spent about $800 a month at that time
On cannabis, or
and that was yeah, on cannabis. And I know that's illegal or whatever, but I was doing whatever I had to do to get off this medication. And that was in February. This February, it will be 4 years that I've been off opiates. I still have 2 more medications left, which are antidepressants. And I don't know when I can come off of those because one of them is pretty strong as far as what I've researched. I'm not really sure how to come off of it. And without access to medical cannabis in the state of Florida, I can't do that. And that's not really fair to me. I need to be able to come off these prescriptions for my health. I have a lot of damage to my body, and I want to be able to live as healthy as possible. And I feel like with the pills that I can't do that.
yeah, and you know what? That's first off, I'd like to thank you for telling everybody your story. That's something that a lot of people are struggling with right now. Plenty of people that are listening. People I know. I had my own battle coming off of prescriptions. I was on the opiates about as hard as you could hit them, and muscle relaxers and benzos. And I know someone that passed away from going off of all their meds. It does happen.
There's doctors that will tell you that it won't happen, but it will.
Well, especially when you're on a bunch of different medications. The more medications, the more complications. What made you get more actively involved in the movement and trying to figure out how to become like a legal patient instead of always, going to the black market? Because a lot of people in the state don't even know that it's legal still.
I know. And see, I've been fighting for it ever since it went on the ballot. I've been for Florida, for that to pass since that Amendment 2 come across. Was it 2012 when that started, or 2013? I can't remember.
Well, 2012 is when it started to get big, and it got on the ballot and failed in 2014.
Yeah, I knew it failed in 2014. I just can't remember when it started. I've been involved in it and I always wanted it to pass. I've always felt like that cannabis across the board would just be not just Florida, but all across the United States or the whole world. I tell everybody I'm a Kentucky-Florida hybrid. Both states are close to my heart. And now that I'm back in Florida, I want to be really involved and I want to do things the legal way. I think I would have better access to quality products that have been tested and I know that will most likely work for me when I go into a dispensary. They're going to know what I need for whatever ailment that I have. I don't have to go on the black market and wonder, is this really
Basically what you're getting at is important for you to not only see the state become legal, but you to be able to be a legal patient yourself.
Yes, and that's my ultimate goal. Yeah. Um, and I had someone refer me.
So we fast forward now, we're in 2017. People are getting their cards despite 90-day waits. And the reason we're talking, for anyone that's listening, is there's some shenanigans going on with Nina's doctor. So how did you find a doctor to use? Who's the doctor? And then tell us about the experience.
I was on Facebook on I don't recall the page, but I was reading through some comments on it was a group in Florida for medical cannabis, and a lady was commenting, Heather. I can't pronounce her last name correctly. I've never heard it, so I don't know how to pronounce it. Prize or something? Is it Prize? Heather Prize?
Yeah, I know who you're talking about, and I think the middle is like Chef. I don't know how to pronounce it either. Prize sounds right though.
Yeah, it's a big long Schaefer Prize.
Yeah, but no, I know who you're talking about. I know who you're talking about. I worked with her with Buds for Vets for a little while before going on to other things.
I was reading through some comments, and she was commenting that she knew a doctor in St. Augustine that took insurance. She was telling other people.
Hold on. This is even news to me. I was surprised when you told me that somebody charged you the insurance. That's something I forgot to mention when you asked me earlier what I knew about the circumstances. So you went there and they accept your insurance for you coming to get your cannabis recommendation.
Yes.
Sounds like I would want to go there too.
So she was, talking to other people in the comments, and I replied, and I was like, "Where is this? What's the name of it?" And it's Crescent Beach Care in St. Augustine, Dr. Adrian Long. There's also another doctor there, but I'm not sure of his name. This is a primary health doctor, like a primary physician is what it is. And so I made my appointment. That was during hurricane time, so it got canceled and I had to go. I had to wait until October, which was no big deal. But yeah, they charged my insurance and I paid a $15 copay to the doctor's office.
What was the result of that visit? I was just saying, what did you think you were going there to get and what actually happened?
Well, I thought that I was getting my recommendation. I was there about an hour altogether. I was with the doctor, with his assistant for a few minutes, and then I was with him for a few minutes, like 30 minutes altogether. And during the discussion, we talked about my PTSD, my degenerative disc disease, and the neuropathy. And he advised me that he recommended that I take 300 milligrams a day, and that if that wasn't working or whatever, then they would adjust it when I come back. So I was like, okay. I thought that was it, right? That I didn't have to go back until I needed to adjust it, or I don't know. I thought that was all I was supposed to do and then go back the next time. But I have now been informed that's not the case.
What about the registry? Did they ever put you in the registry?
Yeah, they put me in the registry.
So you have a patient number in Florida?
Yes, I do have a patient ID.
An active patient with no order to actually fill. I'm just trying to figure it out.
Right.
Okay.
Yes, I have been approved by the state of Florida.
Okay, so they actually put you in, but it's like they called CVS and then hung up.
So yeah, that's pretty much what they did. Yeah.
So how did you find this out?
Well, about 3 weeks ago now, I saw online where someone had posted that they got their card. like really quick. 2 weeks ago, probably, I saw someone had posted they got their approval really quick. So I went online to check it out, and I went ahead and checked my signature confirmation on my mail just to see if they had received it. And they had. They received it on October the 9th, actually. And so I called them to verify to see if anything was wrong with my application and make sure that my pictures were correct. Just, I wasn't calling to nag them or anything. I just wanted to make sure that I had done everything correctly. And the lady was very nice, and she said, yes, ma'am. She said, everything looks good. I said, well, I was reading that there's supposed to be an order in there. Is there an order in there? Is that supposed to show on my screen? I don't see anything. And that's when she explained to me that there was not an order in there, that all I needed to do was just call the doctor. He probably forgot to push the button. I was like, okay. So I proceeded to call Dr. Long's office, and I am still waiting on a phone call right now. Okay. When I talked to them this morning, they didn't call me. I called them. So still 2 weeks later, I've still not received a phone call from him.
Have you called more than once, I assume, or?
Yes, I've called approximately 3 times, and I've sent 2 emails. I haven't gotten anything back. I've had to call them.
What happened when you finally got in touch with someone today? Who'd you speak with, and what transpired?
Okay, so the 2 people, the 2 that I've spoken to in that office on the phone is Becky. Now, I've been told that Becky is the office manager, okay? And then Brandy is another lady I spoke with. She is just a receptionist. Now, which I don't really see the difference in the 2, but I'm not trying to be facetious. That's how I feel about it, because they both acted the same way. I called and left a message on Monday. I left a message with the receptionist, and I said, could you please have Dr. Long to call me? I have tried to get him to return my phone calls, and I do not want to speak to his assistant this time. I would like Dr. Long to please call me. And so I said when he's done with his day. So I waited until Tuesday evening. Never heard nothing. I called back, left another message, basically the same thing. Then Wednesday, yesterday, no call, nothing. So I emailed them from their webpage, and I was very nice and to the point and explained to them why I was upset, why wouldn't they return my call. I said, if you can't return my phone call by 9 a.m. Thursday, I will be letting everyone know how you've been treating me. So I didn't get the call at 9. So around 10:30, I decided it was time to call them. So Becky gets on the phone, and I was like, I sent an email, and she condescendingly said, yeah, we got your email. Since you're going to tell everyone how bad that you've been treated, I'm going to go ahead and send your cancellation letter to the DOA. And I said, okay. And I was like, seriously? She said, you didn't get that call at 9 o'clock, did you?
Oh, my God.
Yeah, that's exactly what she said to me. Yes, we got your email, and you didn't get a phone call at 9 o'clock either, did you? Very condescendingly. No, Becky, I sure didn't. So she proceeded to tell me again, sending my letter to the DOA, since I was going to tell everyone how bad I was treated. And she said, what would you rather have me do? I said, you know what? I said, you go ahead and put a stamp on it, Becky. Bye.
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, can't take it back now.
You can go right ahead and put it on there, baby, because I am not, there is no way that I'm going to have someone tell me, oh, if you'll not say nothing bad about us, I won't send this out. Well, here, let me help you. I'll put it on there for you, honey. I don't play around. Don't threaten me.
Wow. So that brings up a lot of issues. I don't know where to start. Me personally, and I'm not a legal expert, but I'm pretty sure them charging your insurance is not okay. I doubt that they wrote in there that they were talking about cannabis. But
I don't think that's that level.
Yeah, no, I don't think so. We'll look into that for you though, for sure. I mean, I'm sure you probably thought it was okay, and now that this is happening, probably calls everything into question.
Yeah, I didn't really know. I didn't know, and now I'm thinking that I'm like, oh wait, I guess it's not.
Yeah, so
But she, one more thing.
I don't know. This story pisses me off, just to be honest with you. Um, so like,
I have one more thing to tell you that she said.
oh, please do, because this lady's full of jokes.
Okay, get this. Okay, they scheduled my second appointment for December 14th. Now this was last week or the other day when I got my card. She's like, Monday. She said your appointment will be December 14th. So supposedly during this conversation, she said that today she goes, you hung up on me when I offered to put you on a no call, no show list. And I said, seriously, Becky? I hung up on you when you offered to put me on a no call, no show list. Why would I hang up on you if you offered that? That's insane to me. I just didn't understand. I just don't understand any of this. Really bothers me.
And so how much did you pay the first time you had the $15 copay, and then were they wanting to charge your insurance again the next time?
Well, yeah, they'd charge my insurance the next time because I'll have another copay. Yeah, it's a second office visit. I'm not sure how that's charted or how that works, the legality or whatever. I just know that I would have, when I go back the next time, I have a copay. So I don't know how much the insurance would pay them for that the second time.
So what it sounds like to me is the doctor is milking you for, not you directly. You're the one that's getting screwed over time, not getting your medicine. You mentioned you had PTSD, so
Yeah.
you're probably a nervous wreck and anxious as shit the last 2 weeks, and then today I don't even know. But they're milking the insurance. The attitude, though, and this is just me, I quit going to doctors pretty much because of stuff like this.
He wants to open a dispensary / doctor's office.
Well, I'm not going to be shopping with Dr. Long. I don't advise anyone else to. Yeah, no, I don't think that's going to work. What was it like when you realized that she had pretty much let you know that they weren't going to help you at all and didn't really matter?
Oh, I was so totally devastated, completely in shock. I could not believe that and I don't even know if she has the legality to even say what she said to me or do what she's doing. I have no clue about any of this, but I was just absolutely devastated, and my heart hurt because I couldn't believe that someone would treat me that way over something that they were doing wrong. I hadn't done anything wrong except for ask for a phone call, explanation. That's all I wanted, and I couldn't even get that. So I was just really, I can't explain how upset I was. I really can't. It hurt me. It hurt my heart. I cried. I was just really hurt that she was so mean, and it was like she didn't give a shit. She just didn't care. It didn't matter that I was a patient and that I needed to talk to this doctor. I've been waiting for 2 weeks. Please. I'm sure that at some point in this past 2 weeks, he could have taken 1 minute and emailed me and said, I can't call you, but I can email you. Some form of communication.
I think so.
I don't think they're running things properly, and I don't feel like that they're in it for the right reasons. Obviously, they are not, because
I'll tell you what I would do. And this is what I did to get my doctor to release me, because like we were talking about before I started recording, I had a doctor that wouldn't release me from the registry. It was a couple months. Dr. Justin Davis in Gainesville. Lost the thought. Oh, what I would do. Okay. Yeah, so the Department of Health, they have the medical quality assurance, and that's who basically makes sure that physicians are doing what they're supposed to. You may want to contact them if something like that interests you. They would definitely be able to tell you, A, is Becky Bertha allowed to cancel your card for any reason, really. Like, this is a personal disagreement.
Yeah, what
this
is the
isn't like a
reason that it's
medical. Yeah, this
ended?
isn't like a medical reason. Like, hey, we got some blood work back, and you know you might die if you're. Like, it's like
Yeah.
they're canceling your they are canceling your medicine. First off, they wouldn't give you all of the recommendation, and now they're going to cancel it. So,
How does that work?
I don't know how that
I mean,
works.
I mean,
But that's what I was saying. I would be finding out for sure.
Mm.
So these stories, I mean, they ring near and dear because A, I've had a personal story with some, shenanigans. B, I see and hear about it all the time. And C, this is happening in Florida. Like, we're getting too much ridiculous bad press about how things are being handled legislatively that we don't need doctors doing stuff like this, in my opinion.
exactly. And these doctors, they're supposed to be the ones really helping the patient and pushing for the right things to be done with the medical cannabis. And if they're doing crap like this, I don't feel like that, the voters are going to get out there and vote the way they need to be voting for amendments or whatever,
Was there ever any type of like bad exchange before the doctor's office just seemingly went silent and wouldn't return your phone calls?
Not that I can think of. I've never been rude to them. They've always been short and not really cordial, even on, when I made the first appointment. But I don't really think about those things because, well, I didn't, but now I do. But I just think, oh, maybe they're just having a bad day. But no, it all started 2 weeks ago when I wanted an explanation of why my order wasn't in the system and why do I have to come back for a second appointment.
And have you received your explanation yet from anybody?
The only explanation I received was today, and that it was office policy.
Okay, so their office policy is it takes 2 appointments before you actually get in the registry, despite recommending a daily dosage and asking that you let them know how it goes at the next appointment.
Yes, yes, exactly.
It seems like sensible policy to me.
I hope you're joking.
Yeah, no, of course I am. No, these people sound like asshats. That's what they sound like. Sounds like they're ripping patients off.
They are.
Because what's going on here is pretty clear in my mind, and that's the insurance company is footing the bill for a doctor to have an excuse. I don't even know how this works. Like, why not just like add some more? I mean, if you're going to be just billing the insurance company, just keep adding more codes on there till you get your magic number that you need.
Yeah.
And send me on my way.
Yeah, I mean, he could have billed me for that. He could have billed me for like a appendectomy or something, and I wouldn't know.
Yeah.
The insurance company wouldn't know.
I guarantee you nowhere in that bill does it talk about medical marijuana, because if it does, that's like huge breaking news that a insurance company's paying for it. So
Well, I know it doesn't because they read it to me today on the phone.
if I were you, I would get a copy of my chart and my notes. That's what I would do. They probably just straight up lied to the insurance company, and they lied to you by making you think that it's okay to bill the insurance. So
Yeah, I didn't know. And
how are you supposed to know if a doctor tells you? That's like you go to the attorney, they give you legal advice, and then you find out it was a lie. There's no way you were supposed to know. That's who you go to. That's who you go to for the medical advice.
right. I was his 15th patient, and that was at the beginning of October. So I don't know. He's probably seen a lot since then, huh?
I don't know, but he's probably not going to see too many more of the people that ever listen to this or, hear about your story. Or maybe, this is what I always hope, Nina, is Dirtbag hears their story, people get pissed off and they have a change of heart, because then they're not really a dirtbag. They just, realize they're wrong. A true dirtbag's the one who will just keep on
Yeah.
trudging ahead.
Yeah, you're right.
And I'm not going to lie, like, this stuff really pisses me off, because what you described through your whole story is basically a life or death scenario, getting off of these drugs.
Yeah.
And you're still being forced to be a criminal right now as we speak by your doctor.
Yeah.
Yeah, your doctor is using the fact that you didn't get put in the registry as an excuse to bill you another copay and an insurance.
Yep.
So the physician still never called you back.
And about.
I know I've asked you a bunch, but
No,
to me it's a
still
little
nothing from him.
unbelievable.
Yeah, no email, no nothing from him.
Yeah, this dude is probably, I've worked for a lot of doctors, a lot. He's probably hell on earth to work for.
Well, that's like Dr. Long. He had a great bedside manner. He was very cordial. But all of these things makes me see him in a totally different light. It's like, you are fake. You are not who you say you are. So what do you think?
What do I think? I bet if you called your insurance, they would change their tune.
Well, I told Becky, I said, well, this was in the 2 or 3 times that she told me that she was sending that letter out.
I'm calling Becky first thing in the morning.
I said, well, you go ahead. You go ahead and send that letter out, Becky. I said, I'm going to call my insurance company. And then the final time was when I said, you go ahead and put a stamp on it.
Well, I'm sorry you've had to go through all this.
Well, thank you. I just hope that someone listening, do your research and find out where you're going, and make sure that you're going to a legit place and they're not charging your insurance, because I'm pretty sure that that's not legal. In order to charge your insurance for medical cannabis, it has to be legal on a federal level for insurance companies to recognize that. And it is not legal federally, so obviously
it's definitely not being accepted anywhere. That would have been like massive headline news. We're going to give Dr. Long a call. I mean, they basically extorted your medicine over your head and access to it to comply with their policy that they didn't tell you about. So yeah, everyone that listens, 100%, ask your doctor like 5 times what their policy is. Make them write it down for you, because I've heard stories about this. My doctor doubled the rates just all of a sudden one day. Rates went up double.
Wow.
Yep. So there you have it, folks. Sounds like Nina Dawn is being strong-armed by Dr. Adrian Long in St. Augustine, Florida. His phone number, if anyone would like to call and just ask about his policy, is 904-342-7363. Thanks. Have a great day. You've been listening to The Marijuana Solution.
Aware of the Marijuana Solution.